next book that I wanted to talk about is Yane Doctor by Jay Mohan. It's a Tamil book. This year I wanted to get in touch with my Tamil side, so I had a plan to like explore and experiment reading Tamil books. I usually just read a lot of like English books. So this and a few other books that I picked. அதெல்லாம் ஆக்சுவலி நான் படிக்கல பட் இந்த புக் நான் படித்தேன். This is what I started the year with. And Yane Doctor is it talks about a doctor, a doctor who treats animals, especially he treats these elephants in Mudumalai. Mudumalai is a place in like the southern part of Tamil Nadu, and the way he interacts with these animals and the kindness he has and his perspective on life, it's very nuanced. Like இது எப்படி ஒரு இதோட POV வந்துட்டு there is this other forest officer. He goes there to Mudumalai and he stays there, and during his time of interacting with this doctor, I forgot the doctor's name, he's actually a real person. This is more like it's not an autobiography. Imagine writing about your interactions and your experiences, spending time with a real life person who's doing great things. So that's how this book goes. So this guy writes about his experiences while he spent time with that doctor, and it's a very short read. It's more like a short story. In the book one, it was so great, but I think this was the very first Tamil book that I've read in a very long time. So I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but I should say I quite enjoyed it. அதோட அதுல இருந்து நிறைய கத்துக்கலாம். Even if it was a short story, you can learn a lot from it. Like if you are someone who reads Tamil books, go for it. Jay Mohan is a very famous writer. So yeah. But in the book எனக்கு செட் ஆகலைனா கூட there was this other book called கடவுளின் நாக்கு by S. Ramakrishnan. அந்த book வந்துட்டு it's a collection of short stories. இந்த நம்ம சின்ன வயசுல வளர்றப்போலேருந்து லைக் பாட்டி அம்மாலாம் கதை சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, they tell you these small stories which has a moral insight. ஒரு symbolica they tell you stories, right? அந்த மாதிரி வந்துட்டு he brings together stories from all around the world. ஒரு சின்ன எல்லா கல்ச்சர்ல இருக்க இந்த மாதிரி குட்டி குட்டி ஸ்டோரிஸே எடுத்துட்டு வந்து he made a book out of it, and this was so interesting. That was so good. I would suggest you pick it up and read it. செமையா இருந்துச்சு அந்த book, but I didn't read it. I didn't include that in this list because I still haven't completed reading it. I'm taking my time slowly reading it. So this is pretty much the only Tamil book that I read this year. Hopefully, like I'll find more books that is of my interest in 2026. I just realized that I was not holding my mic while I was talking about Yane Doctor. I don't know how well it was recorded, but it's fine. This is my very first YouTube video, and I think I'm allowed to make mistakes. It's my small make do mic, and it's funny. Like I didn't realize na mic illama பேசிட்டு இருக்கேன்னு, but I think it's a quiet room. I don't think there's much to worry about. So let's just talk about our next book. So our next piece of our book is Hating Game. I forgot the author's name. I actually wrote it down in my laptop, but I forgot. So the Hating Game is a classic enemies to lovers trope romance. It's very linear. It's very cliche and சொல்ல மாட்டேன். அந்த டைம்ல அந்த புக்ஸ்க்கு வந்துட்டு I think it was a really nice take. நான் வந்துட்டு இந்த book how I came across it now, I actually saw YouTube shorts of the elevator scene, and I was like, okay, there is something going on between these two, and I read the plot, and I found it very interesting, and I started reading it, and I felt okay, I'll just give you a gist of what the plot is about. I think it's a very famous book. Most of you must be knowing it, but again, it's about two people who work in an office space together, and they are both professional, career wise enemies. But they're also they also have this very thick sexual tension between them. But they just don't acknowledge it, and they're just fighting based on who gets the promotion. Very linear plot, very fun to read, and I personally felt like the first half of the plot was strong, and like it was more interesting and intriguing than the second half. Second half வந்துட்டு கொஞ்சம் diluted feel பண்ண, because in the first halfல தான் you feel all the tension and all the enemy stuff going on, but after the second halfல வந்துட்டு both of them mellow down, and I felt that the first half like just gets you into the flow. It was good. I used to be a huge romance lover. I used to read a lot of Nicholas Sparks and John Green. But ஆனா ஒரு பாயிண்ட்க்கு அப்புறம் I think my taste in books changed. But after a very long time, I picked up like a very proper romance book, and I enjoyed it. It's a very good one time read, and like again, if you're going through a reading slump, this is a book that you can pick up and read, and it's very easy read. It feels nice. You can feel the tension between these two characters, and they're very likable, so just go for it. My Year of Rest and Relaxation by, again, I forgot the writer's name, but in the book again it's very famous. நீங்க பின்ட்ரெஸ்ட்ல வந்துட்டு இந்த புக்கை வந்துட்டு புக்ஸ் ஏஸ்தெட்டிக்ஸில் வந்துட்டு பார்க்காம இருக்க வாய்ப்பே இல்லை. It was popping up in my feed and I actually read it. Guess what? This turned out to be இது வந்துட்டு ஒரு மாதிரி வித்தியாசமாக இருந்துச்சு. பட் ஆனால் ஐ திங்க் ஐ ரியலி என்ஜாய்ட் திஸ் புக். In a very psychotic way, I actually enjoyed this book. So I'll give you a gist about what this book is about. It's a very linear narrative. There's this woman and she has a lot of problems, like mentally, physically, spiritually, socially, all sorts. She gives up on life. She feels like she's too fed up to even think about or face her problems, that she decides she's going to just sleep for an entire year. She goes to this therapist, gets like sleeping pills, and she pops them, and then she sleeps through the entire day. When she wakes up, she eats her food, pops another, she sleeps, and this whole year, she just sleeps. And in the அவ வந்துட்டு கொஞ்ச நேரம் முழிச்சிருப்பாள் for like these small amounts of time when she's conscious. You see like what her internal monologue is like, அவ எதை பத்திலாம் யோசிக்கிறா. And slowly the book, she recalls what happened in her life that pushed her to like do this. It talks about her childhood. She recalls her relationships and how her work life was, her college was, and everything. So அந்த மாதிரி அவ லைஃப்ல நடந்த ஒரு விஷயமா வந்துட்டு it will build up to something, and then finally she'll be pushed to the state. You might think this is a very depressing book, but funnily it's ஒரு மாதிரி dry humor மாதிரி இருக்கும் இந்த book. Girl talks about being depressed in a very again she talks about it in a very third person way, வேற யாரோ ஒருத்தவங்க லைஃப் பத்தி பேசுற மாதிரி பேசிட்டு இருப்பா. She'll have no sense of attachment to her own life. This is a very depressing concept, but ஆனால் அந்த புக் நீங்கள் படிக்கிறப்போ you'll not just find depressing thoughts. You'll find a lot more things. She'll contemplate about like what happened. And in the bookல இன்னும் ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரேஞ்சான ரெண்டு எலிமெண்ட் என்னன்னா, ஒன்று அவளோட தெரபிஸ்ட். லைக் her therapist is this very random person. She is not ஒரு தெரபிஸ்ட்னு சொன்னால் உங்களுக்கு மைண்டுக்கு வர எந்த ஒரு குவாலிஃபிகேஷன்ஸுமே அவள் தெரபிஸ்ட் இருக்காது. ஷீ இஸ் ஜஸ்ட் வெரி ரேண்டம் உமன் who is in her own world. Like her therapist is so delusional, and this woman just lies to her therapist about everything in her life just to get that pills, and she couldn't care less about her. Like her therapist couldn't care less about this woman. It's very funny, like all her interactions with her therapist is, I feel very psychotic for saying this, but it's actually funny. And she also has this best friend who's the only other character apart from, yes, her ex-boyfriend, who's the only other character. And she also has like, she she is a very weird person. She's very self-centered and she has a lot of insecurities, but she loves this protagonist in her own way. She shows up for her, like she is her female best friend, and she shows up for her in the most chaotic in her own way. Okay. And these two are the only other characters apart from this female protagonist. And the book could even make someone who's always very cheerful and like generally happy just mellow down and just become very aloof and just very numb. You feel a numbness when you're reading this book. If you're already in an introspective state, this book would feel like a hug for some reason, because all she does is sleep, and sometimes when we're too exhausted, all we think about is sleeping. And the fact that she sleeps without feeling guilty, and she just goes for it, it's very comforting. But yeah, again, this is a very strange book. This, I would put this book in a strange category, but I like this strange book is what I would say. So yes. Okay, the next book that I want to talk about is It's Not You by Dr. Ramani. So this book, it talks about a very specific type of people called as narcissists. I have a very hard time like pronouncing this word. Let's just go with narc, okay, just for the video sake, because I don't want to put you through the, like uncomfortable situation of me trying and struggling to pronounce the word. I'm just going to stick with narc. So this book talks about narc people, and you're surrounded by way more narc people than you realize, and this book gave me that clarity. So why did I pick this book? Because I love psychology, and I love reading I'm constantly reading something on like human psychology. And even when I'm reading fiction, I look for characters that are very emotionally complex, layered, and has a lot of morally gray areas. Not necessarily a psycho or a sociopath, even like normal people who, characters that talk about emotions in a very messy way, not in a beautiful romanticizing way, just feelings for what they are. That's why I really like this book. I don't have a physical copy of it. I just read an e-copy in my Kindle. But this is a non-fiction, and it is intellectually very dense. It's not for everyone. Some might even find this triggering and too impactful, in so much so that they can't handle it. But if you happen to read it, I don't think you would regret it. And and what you understand through this book, you will never be able to unsee it. You'll start seeing narc people everywhere you see them. Like you can find them in your personal relationships, like parents, romantic styles, friends, siblings, even work, in your workspace. You can see them everywhere. And these people are so specific because they're so self-centered, and they are very emotionally manipulative, and they have uh, their brain is like, their brain thinks in a way that they cannot make any mistakes. They think that they are far superior to like normal people. Again, narc people, it's not a disorder. Yeah, there is a disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, but uh, it's just a character trait. Some people are just this way, and for a lot of people this cannot even be changed. This book was really great. And like sometimes every time we read a book that talks about anything that's psychological, for example, let's say I'm reading a book about anxiety or depression or like BPD or something, one of my very first questions would be, do I have this issue? Do I have this issue? Am I okay? And when you have these thoughts, in the very next chapter the author even addresses that. She talks about like how to know if you're not a one. And yes, this was a great read. Again, I would not suggest this for everyone, but if you're interested in getting to know, understand humans better, you really like psychology and the matter of brain, then yeah, I would suggest you go for it. It was a lovely read. It was so great. And yes, this also works as a great parenting book because it talks about child dynamics in terms of like narcissism. So you can, like if you like reading parenting books, again, you might question me, why are you interested in parenting books? Trust me, parenting books can help you understand more about reparenting yourself, which I think is a very important aspect of evolving during your 20s. So if you're in your 20s, and I've come to understand that our parents have been like, they were parents for the very first time, and they were normal people as well, and they would have like messed up something about us, like almost a lot of parents. And again, they didn't do it wantedly, but sometimes we just live with a sort of like, some parts of our belief system is like sort of a bit tainted. So I think this book helps you reparent yourself and understand that it was not their mistake, not yours, but there needs to be some growth happening that you need to do for yourself. So this book would help you in that sense. Okay, we're finally here with the last book for this year, and that's a wrap up. So this I saved the best for last. This is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Okay, again, I have a very, I can't properly explain how I feel about this book. ஏன்னா ஒரு புக்கை படிக்கிறப்போ கிளியராக எனக்கு இந்த புக் பிடிச்சிருக்கு, இதனால எனக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்குன்னு சொல்ல என்னால் இந்த புக் கிட்ட முடியல. ஐ டோன்ட் நோ வை ஐ லைக் இட் ஸோ மச். and I don't read a lot of classics. Apparently, this is a class one of like this is a classic, and I just liked I loved this book so much. சும்மா ரேண்டமா கூட இப்போ கூட நான் எடுத்து இந்த புக்ல ரேண்டமா எங்க இருந்து எடுக்கிறனோ like I randomly open a page and I start reading, and I just like அந்த மாதிரியே இந்த புக்கை till the end நான் நிறைய தடவை படிச்சிருக்கேன். Again, why do I like it so much? I don't know. But I can tell you themes that made me very attracted to this book. This is a strong, dark academia vibe book, and it has a very okay. Actually, it's not like Harry Potter, but Harry Potter or a dark academia vibe இருக்கும்ல. You can somewhat feel it in this. But this is not fantasy. This is fiction, but not fantasy. So the plot involves, you know, I think five or six people, friends group who study Greek at a very prestigious university. And this whole story is from the POV of the protagonist, who's a guy who actually comes from a very different background to the people in that Greek class. They're all like elite people, and he comes from a very normal background, but he still somehow fits in. And it's just a friends group, but they have this very strange dynamic that only they get. They understand. They just like they are sort of outcasts who started a group together. The whole plot revolves around this guy called Bunny. Bunny is his nickname. So they'll end up killing Bunny. And why did they kill Bunny? What happens? How do they kill him? And what happens? The aftermath of the murder. And do they get caught? And all of that is told in a very nihilistic, again, I think I love the word nihilism. No, I don't, but I think a lot of books that I read this year has an undertone of nihilism, something to give a thought. But yeah, it has a very nihilistic way of talking, like nihilistic tone of approaching. And it involves, here's where things get very interesting, it blends Greek mythology and Greek tragedy into the narration. And you don't know where their lives end and Greek mythology begins. It's sort of blended into one that after a point you just can't separate the two of that. Like, one is these people's present lives, and the other one is the Greek they study in their class, and the whole mythology part of it. And at some point it blends together, and the narrative is so dark. It's actually very dark, and it doesn't leave you feeling sad. You don't feel sad. Sadness is not an emotion that it invokes in you, but it's a classic. It's a classic in the most. I don't think I've ever read a book like this. It was very different. I actually saw this from a YouTube review of like another person who has a book review channel, and she told me she has like 2 to 3 copies of this, and I didn't. And she even told me she paid for the audio version of it. I didn't understand the hype. I think now I understand it. Not that I'll buy different copies of it, but this book is going everywhere with me. I don't know why I love this book so much, but it was just great. It was just great. I think I'll talk more about this in a separate video. It's a very rich book. It's again, you cannot read this in one sitting, but you cannot put it down. And you know what? If you're going to read this, go through the same struggle that I went through, whereby you cannot put it down, you cannot complete it in one read, and you just cannot get so enough of it. So it's a good book. It's a great book. If you're getting into classics and you don't want to, if you want to try classics that are underrated and not much talked about, this is a good read. So apart from all these 10 to 11 books that I talked about, I have two other books that I'm currently reading. I'm almost about to complete it. I'm halfway through, I would say, but I didn't include this in this list because I don't know if I'll complete it or not. So I'll just mention the names because those two again were like great reads, and I would really suggest you pick it up. The first book is Radical Acceptance. Again, I think it's by Tara Brach. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the author's name right or if I got it right, but so good. I really loved it. If you've read The Courage to Be Disliked, or if you read It's Not You, this other book that I mentioned, once you read it, it talks a lot about radical acceptance. And after you read that book, this is more like a sequel. This is what you should read after you read that, and it was so good. Again, it's not a very heavy book, but I think you need to take your time with reading that, because you need to internalize a lot of what the book talks about. So it takes like some time. And the second book is Adult Children of Emotionally Mature Parents. I don't remember the writer's name, but again, it's sort of it's a parenting book. It doesn't talk about narcissism alone, like as It's Not You talks about, but it talks about parents in general. And like, sometimes we just, we just somewhat carry something from our parents, like, right, we see things growing up, and we just, without thinking much, we automatically, by default mode, we start carrying like bad things from our parents. Again, when I see bad things, I'm just using a very vague terminology for this. Like, you should read that book to understand it. It talks about, sometimes we'll be lacking in some ways in our life, and we can't exactly put a pin on why we don't have a good feeling about that. And then when you read this book, you actually understand that a lot of, our limiting beliefs and, mental issues that we have as an adult. Again, when I say mental issues, I'm not talking about mental health, I'm not talking about disorders. I'm talking about issues like, for example, you don't like something, or the idea of something, scares you, or you just find certain things very triggering, certain instances very triggering or like threatening. You're very scared to take the steps towards like getting something you want. And you realize that a lot of it is sort of connected to your childhood. You should read that book to just get what I'm trying to say. But yes, like, these two books are something that I'm reading. I'm halfway through, but you know what, hopefully I'll complete reading it next year. Okay, so I think we've reached the end of the video. I don't know how long it was for. It might be, I might split it into two videos, or just leave it in just as a single video. I don't know. I have to go look at the timings only after this. But it was great, and it was not as scary as I thought it would be, because I just started this YouTube channel as a way of experimenting, like, and like having an outlet. I have a lot of thoughts, and I talk a lot, and explore a lot, and I love the fact that I have an outlet, and I may or may not develop an audience who like the same things as me. So it's not as scary as I thought it would be, and it was quite fun. So looking forward to making more videos and reading more books in 2026. But this was it for like 2025, and I think I'll see you in the next one. Bye.